Hello students, I am Jessie Moore, newly appointed. I will be teaching history and geography. I am from Mangalore. First of all, I would like to introduce the first thing which you are supposed to know very well or understand very well is your syllabus of geography. Now in this video I am going to explain the syllabus of geography for ICSE class 10. So here you can see this is a file. This file full shows your geography syllabus, and later I will explain the first chapter that is interpretation of geographical features and topographical maps. So there will be in class 10. The first thing is there will be one paper of 2 hours duration carrying 80 marks and internal assessment of 20 marks. So you can see there will be a paper, geography paper, and it has one paper of 2 hours duration. So one paper only, total marks is 80 and the duration is 2 hours. So the internal assessment is 20 marks. So you will get internal assessment from school side. That is for 20 marks, but 80 marks you have to, it's a written paper. So total is 100. So the paper will consist of 2 parts. So your written paper will consist of 2 parts, that is part 1 and part 2. Now about first part, it is compulsory. There will not be any choice, and it consists of 2 questions. Question 1 will be based on topographical map, and questions 2 will be based on outline map of India. So this part 1 is compulsory. You have to attempt all questions. There will not be any choice. So the question 1 will be based on topographical map. That is the first part of our geography, that later we are going to explain very thoroughly. And the question 2 will be based on outline map of India. So this is the map work which you are going to get in the geography exam, board exam. Then part 2, candidates will be expected to answer any 5 questions. There will be 9 questions. In that, among that, you are supposed to write only 5 questions. There will be choice. So you can choose which is the easiest question for you. But part 1, you will not get any choice. You are supposed to write all answers. Candidates will be expected to make the fullest use of sketches, diagrams, graphs, and charts in their answers. So you are supposed to use all these things like sketch, diagram, graphs, and anything, whatever needed to answer the questions, you are supposed to use in your answer sheets. Question set may require answers involving the interpretation of photographs of geographical interest. So there will be images, there will be pictures. So there will be some interpretation of any type of photograph, which will be very important for you to get score marks. So this is about the map work. So part 1, map work, interpretation of topographical maps. See, now we are going to, we know that in part 1 2 types of map you are going to get. First one is topographical map, the second one is map of India. So now we are going to explain interpretation of topographical maps. So this is a very important part which you can get score full mark, that means 20 out of 20. Okay, now you can see interpretation of topographical maps. How can you interpret? See what you are supposed to do in this part. First of all, locating features with the help of a 4-figure or a 6-figure grid reference. This you are going to study in the coming videos. That is, if in the topographical map you will get grid. So grid, how you will locate a place with a 4-figure. 4-figure means you know that it will be 4 digits. And 6-figure means that you have to find out the 6 grid reference. That means it will be in 6 digits. So that I will help you to find out it. I'll explain it in the coming videos. So first of all, locating features with the help of a 4-figure grid and 6-figure grid reference. So this is very easy. If you listen very carefully, finding out 4-figure and 6-figure grid reference is very easy. There is no, ultimately it is nothing difficult in it. So next is definition of contour and contour intervals. Identification of landforms marked by contours. That means steep slope, gentle slope, hill, valley, ridge, water divide, escarpment, triangular height, spot height, benchmark, relative height, depth, etc. So you know that this is another important feature of a topographical map. That means the contour lines. So contour lines represents different land features. You can see here for steep slope, gentle slope, hill, valley, for each and every land feature on a topographic map, you will get contour lines, and its different shape matters. So according to the shape of that contour line, you are supposed to find out what land feature is located on that particular area. So this also we will make a separate video for that, and I will explain how to find it. Next is interpretation of color, tints and conventional symbols used on a topographical survey of India map. Your next video after this, I prepare. You are going to get a video on color interpretation and conventional signs and symbol interpretation in a topographical survey maps. So that is very easy. It's not at all difficult. Identification and definition of types of scale given on the map. Next, you know that every map has a scale, so you have to identify what type of scale is used on that particular map. That is identification of scale. You might have studied about different types of scales when in 8th standard, and also once again we are going to study that one, or to rewind all those things. Measuring distances and calculating area using the scale given there. With this scale, how can you measure distance on a topographical map? Marking directions between different locations using 8 cardinal points. So you are going, you have in this one you will study about cardinal and intermediate direction in the coming videos. Then you will come to know how you can find out it. Then identify site of prominent villages and towns, types of land use and land cover, and means of communication with the help of the index given at the bottom of the sheet. So in the bottom of the sheet, you will get some index or legends. With that, you can understand what type of communication is used there. It can be a telephone, a telegram, a line, or whatever communication is using, the post office, all those things, symbols are there that you can understand in that. Identification of drainage system. That means direction or flow of pattern of rivers and settlement patterns. So different type of settlements we are going to study. Then identification of natural and man-made features. So man-made features and natural features, you know that very well, as the name shows or indicates. Natural means made by nature, man-made means made by human. So like rivers, plateaus, valleys, hills, mountains, these are natural features, and bridges, roads, buildings, settlements, and all those things are man-made features. Now this is the part 1 topographical sheets explanation. Now we have to go to map of India. Okay. Now when we come to map of India, so topographical map is very easy if you understand very clearly. When I take class, you have to be very clearly, you have to be very cautious about that. Map of India. On an outline map of India, candidates will be required to locate, mark, and name the following. So when you get an outline map of India for in the exam, see the questions may be like this. Some mountains you have to see names of mountains given, peaks and plateaus. See, these are the things which you are supposed to mark or locate. Himalayas, Karakoram, Aravalli, Vindhya, Satpura, Western and Eastern Ghats, Nilgiris, Garo, Hasi, Jaintia Hills, Mount Godwin Austen, Mount Kanchenjunga, Deccan Plateau, Chota Nagpur Plateau. So these things, where they are located, we have to study. And then location is very easy. Then plains, main plains are Gangetic and coastal plains. Kongan, Malabar, and what is that? Kongan, Malabar, Coromandel, Northern Sirdas, all those things. Okay. Desert. We know very well we have only one desert, that is the Great Indian Desert or Thar Desert in Rajasthan. Then rivers. We have a lot of rivers, we know very well, but the very important rivers, the southern rivers and the northern rivers, the Himalayan rivers, which are perennial rivers, which rivers are ends in Arabian Sea, which are ends in Bay of Bengal. Like that, we have to make some shortcuts, and we have to study their names and the tributaries and the contributaries. All these rivers we have to learn very well, and later we have to mark. Then water bodies. Water bodies, we know very well. See here, Gulf of Kutch, Gulf of Kambat, Gulf of Myanmar, Pak Strait, Andaman Sea, Chilka Lake, Water Lake, oh sorry, Ular Lake, etc. So then passes Karakoram, Nadula Pass. Then latitude and longitude, Tropic of Cancer, and standard meridian. This all we will study. Direction of winds. So southwest monsoon and northeast monsoon and western disturbances. All these things you have to mark with arrow. Arrow mark you have to give, and you have to show their directions from which direction to which direction this wind is blowing. Then distribution of minerals. You know that the minerals which are located, or which are the mineral resources of India, which we have to show. Mumbai High Offshore Oil Field and Digboy, all those things. See, coal mines, gold mines, or what is the copper mines, which are in which states they are located. So all things we have to show in our map. Then soil distribution also very important. First of all, we will study the types of soils and in which states these type of soils: alluvial, laterite, black, red soil, and this in which area we can see we have to locate or mark. Next is cities, the main cities of India you have to mark. Then population distribution. So population distribution, dense and sparse, both we have to study, and there are some shortcuts to learn that also. So this is your geography part 1 about India and about topographical map. Now come to part 2. Geography of India. Again, we have to study its location, extent, and physical features. So from here we will get many ideas for the outline map, how to mark and all. Next is climate. In location, we have position, extent of India. Like that, in the map only we have to, its latitude and longitude we have to show. The physical features of India, like mountains, plateaus, plains, and rivers, through map only we have to study. Next is climate. So distribution of rainfall, temperature, the wind, the monsoons and its mechanism, how southwest monsoon comes to India. So the retreating monsoon, these all things we will study. It's very interesting to study. Then soil resource, as I told, is very important, and type of soil we will study, and the erosional features we will study, and the conservation of soil, prevention of soil erosion, what are the causes of soil erosion. This all is included in this. Next is natural vegetation. We know very well there are different type of vegetations in India. So how to protect, what are the types of forest or vegetation, and monsoon, tropical, deciduous, and evergreen, and all these types we will study. And then what is forest conservation, or why it should be conserved, or what is the importance of forest, what are the uses of forest to mankind, all those things we will study. Next is water resources. Water resources, definitely we have a very good water resource system in our country, and you know that all these resources, we have groundwater system, surface water, and we need to conserve water, how to protect our water bodies, what's the need to protect them, and how we are using this natural resources or a river system to the agriculture, to develop agriculture, what is important and what type of method we are using. These things we will study. Next is mineral and energy resources. See, India is flourished with many minerals, and iron, copper, manganese, gold, all these type of minerals are located in India, and how we are using this, and what are the uses of these minerals, and how we are distributing these minerals, how these resources we are using, advantages and disadvantages, like that many things we will study in this part. Next is agriculture. See, India's backbone is agriculture. We know very well our economy's backbone is agriculture. India has most of the parts of India is Indian people are engaged in agriculture. So it is very important to study about Indian agriculture, and it is important. And what are the problems the farmers are facing? What agricultural reforms are till today? What are going on? Then types of farming in India, very important. The different types of farming prevailed in India: commercial farming, subsistence farming, shifting agriculture, extensive and intensive, and plantation and mixed. all these things, all these types we will study in this part. Agricultural seasons. You know that we have Rabi and Kharif and Zayad agriculture. And what are the what is that? What are the food grains which we are cultivating in this particular seasons that we will study. Then climatic conditions, soil requirements, methods of cultivation, processing and distribution of the following crops: rice, wheat, millets and pulses, sugarcane, oilseeds, groundnut, mustard and soya bean, cotton, jute, tea and coffee. So all these things, these things, this agriculture is prevailing in India. Next is manufacturing industries. So industries are a very important part of our economy. Importance and classification we will study, and agro-based industries. Agro-based means related with agriculture. Yeah, then mineral-based industry. That means industries which is related with the minerals. So these two types we will see here. Next is transport. See, transport. Without transport, we can't distribute any type of resource in our country, in our country or outside. You know, transport is a very important factor for the development of any country's economy. So important transport systems which we use in our country. It's very easy. As you all know, it is roadways, railways and waterways. So what are their advantages? What are their disadvantages? We have to study. Next, that last part is waste management. See, we all are living in a country where we see that what is it? Disposing waste is a very difficult task. So now, in a positive way, we have to think towards that. That means managing the waste. Now that we have to study very clearly as citizens of our country, it's our duty to dispose our own waste. So, like you know that we make waste and or whatever household waste also we are throwing outside. That situation is very worse now. So waste accumulation and spoilage of land. You know that the impact of throwing waste into outside roads or rivers. You know that rivers are polluted because of waste. People are depositing waste year after year. We are depositing, and that because of that, the marine animals also are affected. Okay, so this should not be like that. So waste accumulation, and we have to dispose it in a very clear way. So spoilage of landscape. What are the after effects? Pollution, health hazards, effect on terrestrial aquatic life. Now terrestrial means the life which lives on the land, and aquatic means life which prevails in the water. So both will be affected if we dispose or throw waste into the land. The terrestrial life will be affected. If we throw it in the water, the aquatic life will be affected. So how can we dispose or manage the waste in a positive way? Then need for waste management. Why should we manage waste? We are going to study. Then methods of safe disposal. Safe disposal. That means without harming the environment or nature or anybody, any life. How can we dispose it? How to segregate it? How to dump it? And how to compose it or reuse it? These all methods we are going to study. Need and methods for reducing, reusing, and recycling. These are known as 3 R's. That means reduce, reuse, and recycle. That means first of all we have to reduce the waste in our own house or our own surrounding. Then the waste materials, we have to think how can we reuse it instead of throwing out many things or many waste things. We can reuse. We can use it in another way. We can modify it into another way, and we can reuse it and recycle. Some waste you can recycle and again use, assemble and again use. So these are the things related with the waste management. So I think these all geography topics are very, very interesting and very useful for your day-to-day life. So geography affects our all parts of our life, and we cannot neglect geography as a subject. So I hope you all understood that syllabus very well, and especially a little difficult part as students feel is the topographic map interpretation. To get 20 marks, you have to work hard. You have to understand very well the basic things which is needed for interpreting a map. Even when you are doing that, it will be very easy, and you can score 20 out of 20 and 30, total 30, including India map, it is 30 marks. So getting 30 marks is not a big task. Okay. So this syllabus part is finished here. Now we can go to the next video, which I would like to explain the first chapter, that is the interpretation of topographical map. Okay, thank you.